guys, it's me, Brittany, or Brie, whichever one you want to call me. And if my makeup looks a little different than usual, or you see like my little fake tattoos going on here, don't mind those. I actually just cosplayed this morning, and instead of taking my makeup off just to put different makeup on, I just decided to leave it, so just ignore that. But anyways, in today's video, I'm going to be talking about the negatives with Disney World, or about Disney World. I love the place with all my heart. If I could be there pretty much every day, I would be. But there are definitely still some negatives about the place. It is not perfect, nothing is, and I just don't ever see people really talk about any of like the negatives or like the bad things about it. So I figured that's what I would be here to do today. That way maybe you can be notified of these things before you go, especially if it's your first time going. So the first thing I'm going to talk about is the food. I just went last month in June of 2022, and I had definitely noticed that the prices of all of the food have definitely gone up. I did not do any of the sit-down restaurants this time. I did all quick service and then obviously snacks and stuff like that. And I definitely noticed that the food prices have gone up. It is only by a couple dollars, but just so you know, the food prices has definitely gone up. Another thing about the food is if you're doing quick service, you should know that a lot of the quick service places have the same exact food at every single one. This isn't anything new to me. I've known this since 2017 when I went, but just again, in case you have never gone before, they do have pretty much the same type of things, and if you're going for a longer period of time, you might get sick of some foods. But it's definitely not a huge array of options, especially if you are a picky eater or have a picky eater or a kid or whatever in your party. You can look up the menus ahead of time through the My Disney Experience app, which I definitely recommend doing, especially if you're going to book somewhere like a sit down where you are going to be paying a lot more money. Obviously there's higher quality food, and you're not just gonna get like burgers and stuff like that there. You will get like steak and stuff like that. But if you have picky eaters or just people with certain dietary like needs, definitely look up the menu, and you can even do that at quick service places, and you don't have to be down there to do it. You can look it up ahead of time. So if you have never gone before and you're kind of worried about what kind of food there will be, definitely check that out. So the next thing has to do with the parks, and that is the extra magic hours. In case you don't know what extra magic hours are, they are if you are staying on property at a Disney World resort, either before the park opens or before a park closes. They will have an hour or two of time where only resort guests can be in the park. So anyone who's not staying on property and, you know, is just outside or whatever, then they are not allowed in. They are great because you can usually get on quite a lot of things with pretty low wait times and stuff like that. They're fantastic, and I used to recommend them to everybody. The reason I say used to is because this last trip I went on, again just a month ago, they changed them. I know that this time they were definitely different, and I really don't understand why they changed it, and I don't like that they changed it. Before, like I said, it used to be if you're staying at a Disney World resort, whether that be a deluxe, moderate, or value resort, you had access to the extra magic hours. And when we were there last month, every single magic hour that it was listed said that only deluxe resort guests were able to go, or only moderate and deluxe guests were able to go, and we were staying at a value resort. And the magic hours used to be available to everyone, including people staying at value resorts, and this last trip we saw that they were not. And I think that's very disappointing and very unfortunate. I don't know why they ever changed it. because I think it was perfect the way it was before, and I just don't like it. I think the magic hour should be open to everyone that is staying on property at a resort. That was one of the things I used to always say was better with staying at a resort. When people asked, you know, is it worth it to stay at a resort versus just off property where you can, you know, the hotel is cheaper, I would always say it may be a little more expensive to stay on property, but you get this list of benefits staying on property, and now one of them is gone, unless again you are staying at one of the more expensive type of resorts, and I just don't think that's very fair, to be honest. I know that they are paying more than people who are staying at value resorts, but they are still staying there and they are still staying on property, and I just think that they should have kept it the way it used to be. I hope they change it back. The next thing I want to talk about is the resorts themselves. So the first thing I want to talk about is really not a super important one, but just kind of like a just so you know in case you've never been. The Wi-Fi is horrible. in the like lobby and stuff like that, it's pretty fine usually, but once you get into your actual hotel room, the Wi-Fi either just doesn't work at all, or it is the crappiest Wi-Fi you will ever come across in your life. I'm sure it's because of how many people are trying to use it, but they should maybe take that into account and get more routers or something. I don't know. But yeah, just so you know, the Wi-Fi in the hotel sucks. The next thing with the hotel that I want to talk about is the check-in and check-out times. The check-in time, when I've looked before, it usually said 3 p.m., but it could be sooner and it could be later. It's very kind of all over the place. This trip that we took last month, we got to the hotel around, I think, 11, and we did not get into our room until 4 p.m. So we had 5 hours where we just were stuck without a room. And you can do the luggage service where you give them your bags and you can go do whatever, and then when your room is ready, come back and get the bags. I highly do recommend that because they do not tell you about it, because we did not know about it the first day. So we just had all of our luggage in the cafeteria for 5 hours. Yeah, and they told us at 11 when we checked in that it would only be a little bit and shouldn't take too long at all because there was a person up there right then cleaning. So we figured that was fine because we were just going to eat lunch anyways, and then it should be ready. Move forward 5 hours and it was finally ready. So again, I highly recommend doing luggage service. That way you can just drop your bags off to them and go to a park, go to Disney Springs, or just be able to walk around and not have your bags with you. The check-out time is at 11 p.m., but you can request an extension, and they should most likely give it to you. We got one. We put a request in for it, and they did grant us it, but just so you know, the extended is only 2 hours. So even with the extended checkout, you have to check out by 1 p.m. so you know. So either schedule an earlier flight or just book an extra night, and that way you'll be able to stay in your hotel room until like the last minute. But yeah, check-in and check-out this time was not the greatest experience for us. The last thing I want to talk about is the buses and transportation just in general. It's a little bit of a mess, just a little bit. One of the benefits from staying on property is obviously is you get access to the bus and the Skyliner and the monorail and the boats and whatever else, and it doesn't cost you anything extra. But that being said, the buses are not the greatest anymore. The buses take so long to get to the resort and to whichever park and back. It's a little ridiculous, and I'm sorry I feel like I keep using that word in this video, but it is true. I've never stayed at a deluxe resort, so I don't know how it is there. The value resorts barely get buses anymore. They obviously do get them, but they do not come nearly as frequently as they do at a moderate and I'm sure a deluxe. When the value resorts, the buses take so long. They need to send more. You can tell that they really only have one, maybe two, going back and forth for each park or for multiple parks. Especially when the park is just opening or when the park is just closing. I don't understand why they don't have more buses during those times. Midday I can kind of understand a little bit more because not as many people would be going out of the park as there would be at morning and night. But during the morning and during the night, they definitely absolutely need to send more buses. During this trip, there was quite a few times where we'd have to wait a half hour or more to wait for a bus, whether that was from the hotel to a park or from a park to the hotel. It was a half hour or more. We even waited 45 minutes at the one point, and that's just ridiculous on any standard. Even midday, you should not have to wait 45 minutes for a bus to come and get you, let alone in the morning, and that's when it was. The park was just opening and it took 45 minutes, and I just don't think that's right at all. They should just hire more drivers. Depending on what resort you're staying at, you might only have the bus as an option, or you might have a bus and a Skyliner, or a bus and a monorail, or a boat, or whatever. At the All-Star resorts, you only have the option of a bus, which is another reason I think they need to come more frequently. And at Pop Century, you have the option of a bus or a Skyliner. You pretty much only have the option of the Skyliner when it comes to Epcot and Hollywood, which is kind of going right into my next complaint, is that Pop Century needs to have more buses as well. Obviously, like I already said, the value resorts and everything just need more buses to begin with, but Pop Century especially does, because we stayed there last year in 2021, and my uncle was terrified to go on the Skyliner. He did not even want to try it. Petrified him, so he just wanted to ride a bus. So we asked a cast member if there would be buses coming, and they said no, there would not be. If he wants to ride a bus to Pop Century if he wants to ride a bus to Epcot or Hollywood Studios, he would have to walk over to Art of Animation and then get a bus from there. But even there, the buses only came every half hour, 45 minutes to an hour, because they expect everybody to take the Skyliner, even if people don't like it or like scared of it or whatever. They expect people to take it. Obviously, they send buses for Magic Kingdom and Animal Kingdom because there is no Skyliner connecting to those parks. So the buses there, again, were quite slow, like they are at the All-Star resorts, but at least they sent them. And we never saw a bus once that whole 2-week period we were there come for Epcot or Hollywood Studios, which is great if you do like the Skyliner. It's fantastic, it's so quick, you don't really ever have to wait that long, and it's great. But again, if you don't like it or you are scared of it, I definitely don't recommend staying at Pop Century. I don't know how it is at any deluxe resorts, but the buses at Value are just awful, and at Moderate they were pretty okay. And again, I don't know about deluxe, but yeah, they really need to fix their transportation, especially at Pop Century, if anything. So I think that pretty much wraps up this video. If there is any more, then maybe I will make a part 2, but this is pretty much all I could think of off the top of my head. So yeah, like I said in the very beginning, I love Disney World so much. Clearly, I have gone there a few times now, and definitely am going back again multiple times, but I just figured that some of these things just aren't really ever said, so I wanted to put it out there for you. That way you can kind of see if you relate to them, or if you've never gone before and just want to know about some of this kind of stuff before you go. I just want to kind of put it out there. Sorry if this was a little negative, but I'm sure you could tell that it was going to be by the title. I promise the next video will not be so negative, and I hope you guys enjoyed it. Comment down below if you guys have also experienced these things, or if you have any other negative type things that you've experienced there. Then let me know down in the comments below. Yeah, I guess I will see you guys in the next one, so make sure you like the video and subscribe and hit the notification bell, and I will see you guys. Bye!